Yeah, sorry, that announcement was a bit premature. Okay. Ooh, what? Ah. Now I gotta resettle my mind. Alright. I gotta do the thing. Yep. Did that. Hello. Newt? Just Newt so far. How are you? Oh, nice. New room? You moving into a new place? Ah. Walpurgis. Sometimes pronounced Walpurgis. Or Walpurgis. Walpurgis. Alright. Oh, interesting. That's cool. Got a new room. Alright, so I just need rivets. Don't upgrade to Windows 11. Don't do it. It's a trap. Use Windows 10 as long as it's supported. Once things start having issues, then you can upgrade. But there's no need to be a part of like the early, you know, so like the early bird team or whatever. Yeah. That's how it was with Windows 10. I waited until all the bugs were worked out. Because they had this like horrible issue where they'd try and like index your entire PC, and then for months performance would just be dog shit. I actually picked up quickly this time.
Yes, I actually tried to speak with my mic muted. Gonna be one of those days.
Oh yeah. That's alright. Everybody has those days.
Hopefully I'll have more energy than I did last stream. I apologize for how lackluster I was yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes. There we go. It's already happening. No! Last week. I'm gonna stop talking now before I make it worse.
No. You have to keep going.
Okay. I can keep it going, I guess. I apologize for my lack of energy last week. I didn't have a lot of energy to give then. I have more now because I didn't have such a bad day at work today.
I don't know if it was like, I don't know if it's actually possible for you to not have energy. I think like there's something about your biology that is intrinsically incompatible with like low energy.
It's my social skills. Whenever I have to talk to people, I just immediately turn on the, I gotta act like everything's fine, nothing's wrong. I know I'm dying inside.
Oh
That's
yeah,
beside the point.
For me that's like a mind over matter thing, where like suddenly I start acting all right, and I'm just like, oh, I guess I feel better. And then like I leave the social interaction, and I'm just like, wait a minute, nothing's fixed.
Exactly. Well, you see, people think that there's nothing wrong with me because of just how normal I act in public, right? And then I come home and then everybody's just like, dude, why are you so depressed? Like, what's up with you? You weren't like that when you were out in public. I was like, I had to talk to other people. I didn't want them to think I was a crazy person, which I am, but I can't let them know that.
They're not allowed to know.
Nobody's allowed to know my secrets. They must be held to me with I just died. Holy crap. They must be held with me until I die, was what I was going to say, and then my tongue literally died.
Tongue died. Just like your secrets.
My secrets, of which don't exist, because there can't be secrets if there's nothing to hide.
Exactly. Nothing to hide. Nothing at all.
There's nothing to hide, so why would you ask?
If I space these, does that look right?
Alright, what part are we working on here?
Undercarriage currently.
Ah, the undercarriage, yes.
The undercarriage.
Or the skid tray, whichever way you want to call it.
Oof, skid tray. That's a bit of a pessimistic way to describe an undercarriage.
Well, okay, technically a skid tray is something that attaches to the undercarriage to prevent stuff from going up and in. On my artwork, I just left it unclads, fully open, no skid tray, but generally they'll put a skid tray on the bottom so rocks don't fly up and hit your transmission or your differential or something like that.
Yeah, that's.
Or you can even get a fully clad skid tray for downforce, which I actually have on some of my other cars, like Aeroderivative.
I could see the use case for something like that. Although I agree, I don't think it's exactly the most useful here.
Nah, well, it could be. The car's meant for straight line speed. And anything less than that is going into the wall. Well, actually, no, any more than that, it would be going into the wall more than it already is.
What does that mean? Is that a figure of speech when you say going into the wall?
No, that literally, you could take it as a figure of speech, but generally when you say, oh, a car's going so fast, it's going to be going into the wall, it generally means that the car is too fast for its own good.
Okay, so like it literally just doesn't have enough like speed to like stop. As in it doesn't.
But yeah, it doesn't have enough brake force. Mind you, I put some honking brake drums on this thing, so it should be able to slow down, but it's more so the turning. It's going to be going a little too fast for those spindly front wheels to really do more than just glide it in 10 degrees left and right.
Oh yeah, no, bigger angle of turning with these wide open wheel wells at the front, or no wheel wells.
Yes, they're completely exposed.
As the way God intended.
As intended, you say?
Correct. It's exactly the way that we were trying to do this.
Very well, very well.
Completely exposed. And that actually does make it easier to animate it in distance, by the way.
I figured it would. I try to think in mind both design-wise what would look cool and what's practical for in-game and, what'll look good.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Definitely.
The only problem with rat rods like this is most of them have 0 to no suspension travel. So having that like SUV style suspension we see on a lot of the cars in distance is going to make this car look a little funky, but it's not like we haven't seen that already on Hot Wheels cars. Quarter Mile Coupe, for example, from Highway 35. That would be a car that had more suspension travel than it probably should have, but looked fine.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. That's like the classic rat rod, isn't it?
Yeah, on the Scorchers team, yeah.
Ah, yes.
One of the inspirations for this car. I was originally going to use the same exhaust it used, but I'm like, that looks weird on this car. I'm just going to make it go down and up.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. Got to scrap the original design for something that makes more sense. I found myself doing that a lot when I was working on my Warframe like fan project, where I'd like write some lines and then I'd record them, and I was just like, what the heck? Like that doesn't sound natural. Like who talks like that? And then I'd have to like go back over it and just figure out like what I wanted it to sound like.
Yeah, no, but you see, that's the thing when it comes to especially like script writing or writing in general. Just writing it and then reading it is one thing, and then reading it out loud to let it cement in your head and kind of ring it out, right?
Because you know what idea.
Perspective.
Yeah, you know what idea you're trying to convey in your head, but that doesn't like exactly like equate perfectly to how you're trying to pull it off, like to make it sound.
Yeah, execution is different than the idea in a lot of people's head most of the time.
Yeah, that's what I find.
Unless execution is in the head, then you're going to need a guillotine, but that's for a different case.
Well, no, technically, that's execution in the neck.
My neck is part of my head, okay? I can't live without it.
Speak for yourself. Don't have a detachable neck. Get a load of this guy.
I'm sorry, my head's still leveled on my shoulders. My ego hasn't gotten blown out yet.
Wow, couldn't be me.
I'm joking. Your ego's not out of control. I just couldn't. I just couldn't resist trying that one. I heard someone say that once. I'm like, oh, this would be the perfect time to use that.
A line? Oh, I've been saving this.
There's a lot of lines I save and never get to use, and then the time I get to use them, it's like, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways.
You're like, I was gonna say something. Oh boy, I bet it would have been clever.
Exactly. I know, some days I'm just unnaturally witty, and then some other days it's just weird.
Yeah. Some days it's just like, oh, everything makes sense and people get what I'm trying to say. And other days I'll like say a bunch of shit and people will be like, what are you talking about? And I'll be like,
yeah, same,
good
same,
question.
Same.
Boy, yeah, that is a good question.
What question?
Who are you? What am I talking about?
I'm nobody. I just kind of made my way on here. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
What time's lunch?
What time's lunch? 4 hours ago.
4 hours? Oh, damn, I missed it.
Well, you got second lunch if you want it.
Nah. I mean, second breakfast is one thing.
Now, you see, second breakfast is one thing, but I always have third breakfast. You see, third breakfast is where it's at.
Ah, you're like a Presbyterian hobbit.
Sure. Well, we can go with that for sure.
You're from a different sect of hobbit.
I probably would be. My feet aren't that hairy, so, you know.
Damn.
I'm one of those weirdos that have...
Damn, you can't just say shit like that with Newt listening.
Oh boy, I just realized what I said.
Bro, you did this to yourself.
I mean, I have the hairiest of feet. Don't get any idea.
It's too late. It's too late. It's already been established. It's canon.
It's canon. Canon like my squeaky voice. And cat meows. Don't forget the cat meows.
Oh no, nobody will ever forget the cat meows.
Wait, Newt wasn't there for that, was he?
Oh no. Oh no!
I'm digging myself a bigger hole.
What have you done?
Talking.
When you find yourself in a hole, stop digging!
I'm sorry. I can't. I'm on my way to China, man. I'm gonna get there someday.
Just gonna barrel right through the Earth's molten core.
Maybe I can burn myself to death. Maybe I'll stop being cold.
Never. This is a type of coldness that exists in your soul.
That's probably true. I'm always dead inside anyway. I just don't let people know it.
Newt, I'm gonna say something that's gonna make you immediately turn this stream off and go and dig through the archives. Like 3 or 4 weekends ago, Mouse meowed. Yes, that's correct. Like a cat.
Correction, like a kitten, because
oh God, that's right.
Meows as well. I told you, I'm digging my own grave.
Dig my own grave, lie down in it, start reciting my own eulogy.
I mean, I could just make it easier and meow here so he doesn't have to dig through it, but I kind of want to make him go for a scavenger hunt.
You gotta make him work for it.
And hear it live.
You gotta make him work for it.
Yeah, he's gonna work for it. And then I'm going to, if he can find it, I'll give him one live for him, since he'll want it.
He'll just lie. He'll just be like, oh yeah, no, I totally found it. And then just watch, like, no comments from Newt the rest of the stream. Because for the next 2 hours, he's just, like, furious. Madly digging through the archive, just like, where is it? Where is it?
Where is it? Where is it? I must find it!
Just like,
I will not let it go until I can find it!
Just spittle flying all over the place, just like,
Not yet, Xano. Not yet. We gotta let it simmer.
Yeah. No, there's a time and a place. Not this time yet. Not right now.
I am going to destroy my headphones. Holy crap, this is annoying. My I have one of those. It has one of the dial things on. I don't know what you call them. The little clippy do that's got the mute and the dial all in one on here.
Oh, like one of those inline like control module things?
Yeah, except I don't even use that because I use an XLR, not my headphone mic. But the problem is I've yoinked I yoinked one of the cables on here pretty good. So now if the cable sits a certain way, I either lose all of my hearing in my left ear or all my hearing in my right ear. And it has to sit a very specific way in order for it to have both, and it's really annoying right now.
Yikers. Golly gosh. That's rough. That's rough, my friend.
I've been fiddling with it the whole live stream. It's just gotten to be too annoying after 20 minutes in.
That's...
There we go, I got it.
I had a pair like that a while ago, and then I bought new ones. So that's about the only advice I can offer.
You see, I would get Bluetooth headphones new, or wireless headphones. The problem is I have to plug it in via an audio jack because of how I have my sound equipment set up. I route all of my computer sound through my soundboard, and it does all the processing for that. So I have to be able to plug into what it's got on the back.
I feel that.
Not to mention, I just prefer cables because screw being tidy, I love the chaos of just cables everywhere. Despite me actually giving them all their cable runs and actually sorting them where they're supposed to be, I still like the chaos of looking at it.
Based? Could it be?
Maybe. I don't know.
Sounds pretty based.
No, DK, I don't think I'm going to be entering... Well... Next month? Maybe. Not this one. I'm not going to be doing this one. I have not enough time, and I'm way too tired.
Yeah, I think
these past few...
Probably a good idea to take a break. Take a breather.
I mean, that's kind of what I did for the space car concept and the one after it. I took a break between those two, and then I came back with Metalizer.
Yeah,
and I definitely did need that break.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Metalizer turned out pretty good. That's what I notice sometimes. Like, I'll start doing something and I'll get really into it, and then I'll get a little bit burned out, and then I'll just be like, oh boy, I've got so much stuff to do. And then I'll just kind of, like, it'll work out so that I just don't end up, like, doing anything for a while, and then I eventually come back to it. And, like, I'm just like, all right, well, I hope I haven't completely forgotten how to do this. And then, like, I'll try something, and then it's just like, oh, like, I'm actually better at it now.
Yeah. Well, it gives your mind a moment to rest, kind of thing, and adjust to everything you've been learning.
Yeah,
I don't know. That was one thing with Crossout here, like I said on the last live stream. A lot of the paint techniques I used for paint chip and rust, I learned from doing Metalizer. So, and I didn't even intend for it to happen that way, but it did. So, but that's also because of the way I draw. Every time I draw something, I have to find something to improve on. I can't just... My brain does not let me just draw something for the sake of drawing it. I have to do better than I did last time every single time. And it's annoying because then I'm just like, oh, well, I could draw this, but I don't think I'm going to really be getting anything from it, so I'm not going to bother right now. And then I just never get to any of my projects.
Yeah, I don't draw because I don't really... hypothetically, it'd be cool to like be good at drawing, but I also just don't have the time and commitment for it. But like I do import cars and stuff, and like I play D&D, and if I don't know, but I get where you're coming from is the bottom line. Where like if you aren't like if the thing that you're making now doesn't look better, then it just doesn't feel like it feels like you've wasted your time. Basically.
It does, even though most of the time you don't when that's the case, right? You've made something, it's on par with your standard, right?
Yeah, you have something new, but it still feels like you're losing,
Yeah, you see, that's exactly how it is for me. If I'm not either improving on my previous drawing skills, doing the same kind of thing, so car design after car design has got to be better and better, or I have to try something different, like instead of cars, draw people, for example, or draw landscape, right? yeah, I'm not going to be able to take too much of what I learned from the previous, but I'm doing something new and I'm expanding and learning more. So it makes it feel like I'm doing more, right?
And
Even
then,
if
of
I'm
course,
really not.
it's like it's a new experience as well, on top of that.
DK, you got to give yourself more credit. I think you're just too much of a pessimist when it comes to your own work.
That's a big thing. There's like two modes. There's either just like, oh, I'm great, or like, man, like I'm not good at all.
That I'm right in the middle of those two. I never tell myself I did a good job until everything's finished and I can compare between my new and my old work, right?
True, yes.
I will never tell myself I'm doing better. I will never tell myself I'm doing good until I can see the finished product, kind of thing.
And then, of course, sometimes it's good to just like be able to really compare between, oh, look at that, between what you were working on and what you've got now.
Yeah. But you see, that's always been one problem for me, is if I can't compare that until it's completely done, and I can't compliment myself because then I'm gonna feel like I'm too much of an egoist.
Yeah, I get that. Where it's just like, like I haven't actually done the work to deserve this. Like it feels nice, sure, but it feels like I'm deluding myself. It feels like, one day I'll wake up and I'll just be like, wait a minute, like objectively, all of this was terrible. How did I ever think that this was like good? And that's
no, I know what you mean.
That's why I'm afraid of like of not being critical enough.
You see, for me, I kind of relate with that too. Is I'm overly critical of every little thing that I do. And matter of fact, there's actually a lot of things in the this drawing in particular for Crossout that I'm not happy with, but I still included anyway because I was just like, I need to get this out the door. It needs to get done, and I'm sick of this design.
Yeah, that's how I am sometimes with some of like the maps or whatever I'm making. I'm just gonna be like, this is good enough.
But you see, I absolutely hate doing that too, because it's unfair to the work that you're doing as well, Yeah,
no, it's just like apathy, and no good work ever comes from
death.
Apathy. Nothing.
I gotta replay that game. It's been a while.
Oh, is that where is that? Sorry, I didn't recognize the quote. Where's that from?
Oh, it's from Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Really? For a second,
Yes.
I don't know why. I thought it was Far Cry 3.
Oh, I haven't even played Far Cry.
Neither have I.
There's a lot of games I haven't played that people would crucify me for.
I get told all the time, like, you haven't played Far Cry? And I'm just like, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It just hasn't happened.
It's not a bad game by any means.
No, yeah, from everything I've heard, it's like a solid game. But it's just like,
oh, yeah.
It didn't happen for me. You know what I mean?
You just never really found interest in it, kind of thing.
Yeah, because like I feel like there's a lot of like just like benchmarks that people kind of pass where they play their first like Mario game, or they have a Super Nintendo, or they have like an Xbox or whatever. Like they have a thing that they do that they could just be like, oh man, I remember the first time I like did this on that thing, and they can like relate to that experience. Sometimes like it's just like I'm the one weird kid who never had an Xbox, and it's just like what did you do growing up? And I was just like, well, I played on a GameCube that I inherited like back when they were like the oldest cons. Like at that point they were like not old, but they weren't very. They were
last
current.
Gen's console kind of thing.
They were. It was a last gen console sort of thing, kind of like where the PS4 is now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's where I entered.
See, when GameCube and like PS2 and all that stuff was coming out, I was still playing on a Sega Genesis.
I wasn't even aware of like when all that stuff was coming out, because I actually grew up in the country, in Colorado, so it was like a very kind of like new age hippie town back when.
Oh, I gotcha.
Those were still actually like new age hippie, and not just kind of these trendy corporate retreats. And and it's like I grew. My neighbors had like ranches. Like I was in that part of the country.
I mean, I could just look out the window here and just look at the cattle ranch down at the bottom of the hill, kind of thing.
It was basically, like it was similar to that. We had dial-up when I was growing up, and like I don't think we would have even been able to get DSL out where we were. The closest town was just like this, like it was like a real country town. It's like the economy was mostly based around farms and ranches.
Yeah, kind of sounds like not where I live anymore. It's a lot of people from California have moved up over these past 10 years, so it's no longer the small farming town it used to be. But Nissa is still kind of that same way, which is just the a couple towns adjacent from me. It's very much like that.
Yeah. And it was cool growing up in a place like that because when I was a kid, me and my brother would always go around and we had like lots of acreage of this property. Like I think we had 5 acres that we had, which isn't like a ton, but it was enough that it was like the size of a medium-sized park, and we had a little creek run through it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And we would occasionally, it was actually pretty cool. We would occasionally like get out in the Zeno, watch closely.
Bevel it.
Bevel.
That's all you get, you addict.
Bevel it. Huh?
Summon the god of chaos and bevel! Bevel to your heart's content!
You're turning 20? Newt, here's the secret. Time never moves in the opposite direction. No! No, Zeno, I will not bevel it more. It's not gonna happen. No! The tires are staying! I'm beveling this cube, and that's it! That's all you get! No! The chassis will not be beveled! Oh god,
Bevel everything! Bevel the wheels! Bevel the legs! Bevel everything!
I gotta get a better mic. I think I'm maxing this thing out. Can you hear on the stream?
Maybe you're maxing it?
Does it sound like I'm maxing it out on Discord?
Maybe just a smidgen.
Okay.
I don't know. I would actually have to see an actual recording to see if it's maxing out or not. Are you building your audio with Minecraft blocks, or is it actually looking normal, like waves?
I'm using OBS, so there's a little line that has numbers on the side, and then a green portion, and a yellow portion, and then a red portion, all the way at the tippy top.
Red means
and
you're maxing.
It's going all the way past the red, yeah, so I'm maxing.
Yeah, that means you're maxing.
I gotta get some
I've got a limiter on my mic, so I could scream as loud as I want, and I won't peak my mic.
I didn't even know that a limiter is a thing. I know like nothing about sound design. I like, sounds, but I'm so ignorant. I'm like that one kid that's just like hanging around in the computer lab and being just like, oh yeah, I have a computer. Like he's just really enthusiastic, but he doesn't know anything. Like not the first thing about it.
I should say it's not like a limiter that stops it, because that's kind of the same as peaking it. I've kind of just tuned my equalizer to make my lows high and my highs low, if that makes sense. So it equalizes it, hence the name equalizer.
Equalizer. How do you, like, is that a software thing?
Yeah, on my Go XLR.
Newt just used a microphone speedometer metaphor. Paid for it. Paid for all of it. I was just gonna say,
the soundboard has the I can adjust audio levels on the soundboard, but if I want to adjust the actual, like, how do I put this? The actual levels, the individual sets of the mic itself and its outputs and inputs, I do that on the app it comes with. So I do electronic tuning on the computer.
Interesting.
Here, hold on. Let me. Oh boy. I don't know how to explain this that well. I'm not an audio technician. I learned most of what I did from my dad. So he was an audio engineer way back in the day.
Oh, that's how I am with construction. My dad used to work in construction, so occasionally I'll be like, oh yeah, you can do stuff with drywall.
You can do stuff with drywall, like...
I didn't pick up a
You don't
lot,
break it.
to be fair. I picked up
you
enough.
obviously... You need to learn how to do stuff with concrete, and I know the perfect channel. It's called 5 Minute Craft. All I do is build stuff with concrete. Like, why? I don't even know. It's a whole rabbit hole.
That sounds like 5 Minute Crafts, yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know much
It might
about
just be
them, but I
easier if I
guess-
just take a picture of this and then show you. Give me a minute. I'm doing the stuff.
A course in audio engineering. I ought to do something like that. It's been a while since I've done any school stuff. I mostly just work these days.
The best part about a lot of this audio engineering stuff I learned too, besides from my dad, was I just learned it on YouTube.
Nice.
It's just there.
Nice.
So I sat down 3 hours. By the end of it, I had this thing working to perfection, and I haven't changed it since.
I ought to do that. I've been thinking about getting back into like recording some voice lines for the Warframe project. By the way, I haven't ever like used any like voice actors or anything for it yet. It's just me and one other person, and that's like all of the lines. But
Okay.
in the future, that might be cool. To like have some more characters, because I think that's a lot of like what is missing from it is just like some serious, and I mean that might be a good interim project while we're waiting for stuff to kind of get going with the fog realm.
Yeah, definitely.
Could be cool.
I'd be down. I know nothing about Warframe, but I'm down.
It's fun. It's basically just weird Star Wars. You don't need to know anything.
Weird
else.
Star Wars.
Yep. It's just weird Star Wars.
There's a lot of things you could describe as weird Star Wars.
Yeah, that was the entire reason Dark Asteroid started playing Warframe. Oh no. Xano sent me a
here's-
duck. I thought that was the duck at first. I was just like, I
That
didn't
was me.
hit
That
play.
was me.
Yeah. Star Wars with more politics and lore. How would you
Have you
describe
not seen
Warframe?
the prequels?
How would
Anyway.
Newt, how would you describe Warframe? Cool space ninjas with weapons that would probably be banned in real wars.
No, that's why it's perfect, because you could commit war crimes and nobody would care.
War crime simulator? They're not war crimes. These aren't people.
Space age.
They
war
don't have
crimes.
rights.
Like I'm playing RimWorld out here. Sadly, I don't think you can run an organ harvesting ring in Warframe compared to RimWorld, but you know.
No, you can't. Oh wow, that is nice.
So that's I sent you a picture of the electronic tuning that you do on the app for the Go XLR. This is a very small portion of it, just the equalizer. I gave it what they called a California smile, where it starts low, goes up, goes to the middle, starts going down, then back up and down again. From left to right.
Okay.
And what that does is it equalizes your audio, so your lows are high and your highs are low. Pretty simple. Mind you, this isn't exactly how you would tune it. This is tuned specifically for my squeaky voice because my voice is higher than most people's. So
Oh, I think I get it. I think it makes sense. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
that's the best way I can describe it is with the picture. On the left-hand side is some other fancy stuff, and on the right-hand side is the compressor. Ignore those. Those are fine-tuned specifically for what you want to do with your mic. So.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely am going to need to do something like that if I want to get back on the Warframe project, because the audio quality I was using currently was unacceptable.
Well, what mic do you use right now?
I use a Fifine. Just some random brand that was like $30 on Amazon.
I could recommend you a really good USB mic if you want basically a plug-and-play mic that's got great audio.
This is a USB mic.
Oh, it is a USB. I'm not familiar with that brand.
Yes. Neither was I. And I still am not, because I have nothing else by them, because I have no idea what kind of a company they are, because I've only bought the one mic just because it had good reviews on Amazon. People were just like, works good. And I'm just like, good enough for me. Click.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to do it. I don't know. I have a YouTuber that I watch who does a lot of voice acting, and he's the one that I learned a lot of microphone recommendations from.
Okay, well, if he does voice acting, then I might need to take that into account, because that's definitely a consideration.
Yeah, he matter of fact, the specific XLR mic I'm using is what he started working on himself with, but after he upgraded from his USB mic. And the reason I went with this one specifically, and he actually compared this specific mic, the Audio-Technica 2020, with his latest one, which I don't even remember the name of, but it's some $1,000 mic that's really good, is the AT2020 makes your voice sound a bit warmer and a bit more crisp, which really helps a lot of the voices that I tend to do, which are very energetic, very bubbly kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was another reason why I got this mic in particular. That, and it's robust and was only like $110. So $110 for super duper nice audio quality that makes everybody go, hey, why are you sounding so clear on this voice call? You know?
That'd be worth it.
Because honestly, I've comparing playback recordings of this with people who have heard me talk in person, it's very close to my actual voice. There's not a lot of distortion between the two. At least that's what people say. Because, you know, I can't hear my own voice outside my own head unless I record it. So I don't have a comparison other than what other people tell me. And they all say it sounds very similar, so.
Well, I'd trust that then. No reason for them to lie unless they're just like, it makes his voice sound weird. We got him!
I can make my voice sound weird. That's why I have the Go XLR.
True. All right.
I mean, I don't need to work too hard to make my voice sound weird. I could just start talking out my nose and I would sound like a chipmunk. So, well, not a chipmunk. Probably a chipmunk on, what the heck do they call that? Boramine or whatever? It's the opposite of helium that makes your voice really deep.
Weird.
It's super cool. Also, 3 times as expensive.
Oh, did you know we're running out of helium?
Yeah, I heard that about 10 years ago.
It's happening very slowly.
Well, it's like a lot of things. Resources get drained slowly over time. It's just what happens. But consumption increases as population grows as well. And population keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. You ever do that thing on a calculator where you do like 2 times 2 and then you just keep pressing the equals button, but it's
exponential.
2 times whatever that new number is, right?
It's the exponential mathematics there.
Yeah. That's basically what's going on when it comes to consumption and population growth. That's just the simplest way to put it.
That makes sense. So to answer Newt's question, Acceleron would, I don't know. Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Dojo Acceleron?
Yeah, as far as I know, like, we're the only Acceleracers related Warframe clan, so we might as well capitalize on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, why not? That sounds cool.
Yeah. A dojo is like an in-game community house thing.
It's kind of like your clan's headquarters or whatever.
Yeah, it is.
A meeting ground.
It's exactly that.
I too have played MMORPGs before. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it probably would make more sense to rebrand, and then, because the Warframe.
Sorry, I just read DK's thing. I'm unfemboyed mouse. Continue.
Unfemboys your mouse. Well, fuck you then, unfemboys your mouse.
Newt would be sad.
Yes, he would be. You're gonna break Newt's heart like that, DK?
I don't mean to do it. I just... Oh, you were talking to DK. Whoops.
Yes, yes. No, I
sorry,
know. You'd never do something like that to Newt. I know you're better than that.
I would hope I'm better than that. I don't like being mean. It's not my thing.
No, not a very femboy thing to do. Judge all of your actions based upon how femboy they are.
Yeah, yes, there needs to be a scale for that now. Just any action I do. Yes, I'd rate that a 12 on the scale.
12. But what out of what though? What's the floor and what's the ceiling?
It's whatever you want it to be.
All right.
Oh, it could be 12 out of 1 point gazillion. 1.8 gazillion.
1.8 gazillion. 1.8 gazillion. I'll take it. Okay.
Something like that. I don't know. My brain was trying to come up with something funny, and my brain couldn't. I used up all my wit on Thursday.
That's me. And part of it's just that I don't have the presence of mind to fully engage with a lot of the jokes. I've got this problem with another friend of mine. He'll just like make these super obscure references that I'm just like, man, if I understood what you were talking about, I bet that would have been clever. But I have no idea, man.
I've been there. All of my coworkers, they have inside jokes because they go to public school. A lot of them, they're still in high school, right?
Yeah.
And they always make jokes from their cliques or with their friend groups, right? And I just don't get them. And then they kind of look at me like I'm supposed to get it.
I'm just like,
and then they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, right, you don't go to school anymore now, do you?"
No, I'm an old man. Leave me alone.
Yeah, actually, I am now officially a full-fledged adult as of the 25th. I turned 21 a couple days ago, so I'm getting older, and I don't want to be older.
It never stops. I mean, it does, but you won't be around to appreciate it.
No, I'm just gonna go haunt someone's kitchen cabinet. I'll be here to appreciate the rest of my time on Earth.
A kitchen cabinet. I don't know why. That sounds like so specific that it's just like you've thought about it and you're like,
no. It's so when you're in the middle of the night, right? You're in the middle of the night. I can just kind of go, and just scare the crap out of somebody thinking someone's breaking in or something. Then, they don't know where that sound came from.
The kitchen cabinet just opens and all of this like cereals just.
Yes. Or what my favorite thing to do is just open the kitchen cabinet when everybody walks out, and then they turn around and then they start blaming each other for, why didn't you close the kitchen cabinet? You were the closest one. Well, you were the last one that touched it.
What kind of people do you hang around? Like my family would just be like they wouldn't care. They'd just be like, oh, somebody's gonna need to close that at some point. I've got things to do.
The kitchen cabinets that open on their own and then close on their own is pretty much the most amount of excitement we get around my house. But we don't really get into arguments or fights out here or anything.
That's a thing?
No.
You've got that?
I guess.
Y'all have poltergeists?
I mean, we live on a hill, so it very well could just be gravity.
No, hills, poltergeists. That's the thing. There's a connection.
Well, I mean, I do bring home a lot of negative energy with me when I go to many places. So it's very well I could have just manifested such a thing.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
the light in my bedroom, when I switch it on, sometimes it likes to flicker really quickly on and off without me even touching it. So
Oh, that sounds like the power company just doesn't like you.
No, it's only the light in my room though, and it's not like the light. It's the light switch. If you click it into full position, it doesn't fully set in. Unless you really press it hard. So if you just push it up normally, it just kind of flickers up and off.
Weird.
The light.
That's some cool mood lighting though.
But it literally looks like the stereotypical horror movie scenes where the light's flickering at the end of the hallway, right?
Yeah.
That's literally what my light does. So anytime that happens, I always just go, uh-oh, the demon's coming out again. Everybody find cover.
Everybody watch out. Demons are coming.
Yes, they strike at the most inconvenient times.
Boy, do they ever. Do they ever. All right, one sec. Somebody's trying to get a hold of me.
Oh, important work business.
Not work business.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just stepped on my cat. He walked under my chair and I put my foot down right on his head.
Whoa, sorry about that, buddy.
Where are you, buddy? Hey.
Meow at him. Did that get his attention?
I did it away from the mic. That may not have been picked up.
Oh, it was.
Was it?
If it didn't get the cat's attention, it definitely got Newt's. Oh, he heard it.
He heard it. He heard it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Newt has gone woke. He's awoken. Hold on. I shall give you one more. This time, high quality audio. There you go. One straight into the mic for you.
It was pretty quiet, too, with all the music. You could probably clip that.
I mean, I could literally just clip that by muting all my other audio and pressing my sampler key.
Mouse be like, why do I hear boss music?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, that's not right. Oh, that's
Do not nibble my feet.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip it. Somebody.
Get it. Los. Dein guten Katze, ja? Los.
Yells at cat
Alright,
in
there
German.
he goes. He's leaving. I told you, he responds to German.
Well, you've got a very interesting cat.
Oh no, now everybody's clipping it.
Yep.
It's gonna end up all over the internet. It's fine. I've been able to meow like that since I was 4.
That's
See,
innate talent right there.
fun fact: when I was when I was 4 and 5 and 6 around that range, I could actually bark like a dog, and everybody would confuse me for a dog. No, we would just walk around. I'd be like, "Oh, puppy," and then I'd bark like the dog, and then the other people around would be like, "Do you have a dog with you?"
Bro. This is like
No,
this is like some origin story tier shit.
My mom would always just go, "Oh no, that's my son. He loves imitating animals."
Oh, it's my son. We're not sure if he's human. He could be a parrot.
I mean, I do identify podcasts, so you know.
Yes, I'm what's known as a cat boy.
Cat boy. Yes, I'm Neko Man.
Neko man.
I do like my cat, my Nekos. They're very adorable.
Oh, I got a pretty cute cat. You've seen him around the server. Have you ever used the catwalk emoji? That's him.
I have not used the catwalk emoji, but I think I've seen him in the cat pictures section.
You probably also seen him there. That's why that channel exists, is because I kept taking pictures of him, and I was just like, the world needs to see these.
Maybe I'll post pictures of Max on there.
I am
Mountain Man,
disappointed.
as his name is.
I'm disappointed that you haven't already.
I just haven't figured out what name I want to give him. Whether I want to give him his proper full name, Mountain Man Maximilian, or Maxwell,
You've got to give him
or
like
if I
a
want to
name
go with
tag.
his scientific name, Maximus Destructivus.
Imagine having a scientific name. Wow, that cat's more professional than I am.
Mountainous Manius Maximus Destructivus. That's his full title. Because
Oh, wow.
holy crap, when he wants something, he just breaks everything.
That's some pretty Sigma energy.
I don't know where he went. I threw. We have this little like foam ball he loves playing with, and that's why he was under my table. Is that's where I keep it. He found it, and then he started nibbling my toes because he's like, I want to play. So then I just threw the ball, and he just ran down out of the room.
Oh, that'd be sick, having a cat that likes to play fetch.
Hey, fun fact: we have this like little like plush cricket thing, little cat toy thing. When we first got him, he was a rescue. When we first got him, we would throw it, he'd run, he'd bring it back to us so we could throw it again. It was so cute.
That's pretty freaking adorable.
He stopped doing that a while ago because then he learned that we would just go get it.
You should never have taught him that.
I
You've
taught him to
opened
open
Pandora's
doors.
Okay, all right. I can imagine this is like you just don't show up to stream one day, and I just like, what happened to Mouse? And like I don't hear from you at all, and like eventually someone from your family like gets into your Discord account and is just like, sorry, the cat killed him. Like it just opened his door in the middle of the night and just fucking killed him.
You know that scene from Jurassic Park where the Velociraptor opens the kitchen door, right?
Clever girl. Yep.
Yes, that's basically my cat.
Yeah.
Though luckily there's only a couple doors in the house that use handles. Most of them use knobs, and he does not have opposable thumbs.
That's the way to do it. Gotta get those knobs. Santa's just like, don't worry, I'll replace him once he's gone.
However, he knows that he can use his face to open stuff that isn't closed. So let's say the kitchen cabinets, again. He can just walk up to a kitchen cabinet, put his snoot up in there, and just push it open and then crawl in.
Yeah, my cat does that as well. My dog does it way, way more. We've got these really heavy sliding glass doors, and she'll just like, yeah, get the whole thing.
Well, see, that's the other thing too. Is we even we made him a cat door for our back porch area. He doesn't like using that if we're around. To quote, I'll translate his meow when I say, "Oh, you can use the door." No, human, no. I don't want to use my face to open the door. You have a perfectly good hand, and it's going to ruffle my fur if I have to brush up against this door. It's all staticky. Just open the door for me, human, would you? That's how he speaks.
Yeah, no, that seems exactly like the type of shit he'd say. Fucking Max.
Yes, DK. He is the kind of cat that if he fits, he sits.
He's a plague cat.
Nah, he always chooses the most inconvenient places too. And then when you try to pick him up and move him, he'll go meow, and then he'll go dead. He'll play dead.
Yeah, no.
Or
if they were
option B,
convenient,
he'll hiss at you and try to kill you.
Option B. I like option B. Can we go with option B?
He loves option B.
Oh boy. Seems like exactly that type. Yeah, my cat.
I love him though.
My cat's mellowed out a lot. Like he used to kind of be like that. Then I don't know. Like I started like working more hours, and I think eventually he noticed like I wasn't like trying to chase him down and pet him as much, and he's just like, what's all this then? What is this about? And then he would like, just like get in my face and just be like, pet me, and I'd just be like, why? I'm busy, and he'd just be like, shut up, do it.
Yes, that's my cat. Problem is though, when he really wants pets, he will not just stop at sitting next to you and meow or patting your leg. He will full on sit in front of what you're doing until you do what he wants. And he is smart enough to sit there until you are far enough away that you are fully inconvenienced and detached from your task.
That's the cat strategy, the catagy, if you will.
Yes, it's the catagy of the year, if you will, as well.
Oh yes, that's exactly, that's what that is. It's by design. They know what they're doing.
Yes, they plot world domination at all hours. We just don't recognize it.
Exactly. Precisely. Does this look right, by the way?
It's good enough. It's an interlocking I forget the specific term for it, but it's basically a 2-point swivel joint that allows it to move up and down and a little bit left and right without, breaking the drivetrain.
Okay.
Mostly up and down, I should clarify. If your rear wheels come out from under your car sideways, as in off of your car, there's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, that's historically has been a good indicator of a bad time.
I mean, if you really want to get the ultra high detail on that transition point, I can send you my reference pic. But it doesn't need to be that detailed. Nobody's gonna stare at the intricate details of the underside of the car while they're racing.
I'm staring at them right now.
Well, you're staring at them right now, but they're not while you're driving. You're gonna crash if you do that.
How do you know I'm not filming this like in a car at this moment?
Well, because you haven't been cut off or flipped off somebody for cutting you off yet.
Maybe I'm just like super calm about it.
Yeah, you could be one of those calm drivers. I'm that way. I remember last week when I was coming home from work before I got on the live stream, I was coming home and some guy cut me off right in front of me. And instead of like, doing the normal thing where you get on your brakes and you go out of the way, I'm just like, oh, he's right there. Okay. Get on the brakes, drift off to the right so he doesn't hit me. Turn back in because he's getting out of the way now. Okay, get back on the gas and let's go. That was literally my thought process. I was just like so out of it.
Yeah. No, I don't I just don't have that like enthusiasm for driving where I can get that upset at like other people. And
You see, that's something I find weird with like American driving culture. All drivers on the road in America just take everything as offense.
they take it all personally.
I don't know why.
They're just like, this guy, he was in front of me on the road. He was in front of me on the road.
Dare he? Right? That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? And I just don't get it. Why would you get angry on the road and try to like run them off, or I'm gonna put them in their place because they cut me off, right? Like, no, just chill and just drive. You don't want to get into a collision now, do ya?
I don't think at some point, like, it seems like people just like stop caring. It's just like they just get so angry that it's just like they could literally be like stabbing themselves like in the eye with a fork just to like make the other person like feel bad. Just like they're just so unreasonably angry.
I would like to say that I would like to know that probably wouldn't happen, but I actually know of a couple stories where somebody did that thing. Matter of fact, actually, I'm not going to say that. That story's a bit, so I'm not even going to bring up that story.
Now I'm curious, Mouse. What have you done?
I didn't do anything. It was a story I heard. This was back when I worked at the pool, a couple years, like 3 or 4 years ago. We have a huge rail line just going through our town, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Somebody was, I don't know what their mental state was out on the rail line, but they decided after getting really mad at something to literally tear their eyes out of their sockets.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not joking. I didn't see this, but it was on a I kid you not, it was on one of the local police reports. Somebody tore their own eyes out because they got so mad at something. And they were obviously not in their right mind. But that truly happened in my town. I kid you not. Did you see this? Why I didn't want to say it. They're blind now. They don't have any eyes.
How do you like not just like put like a helmet on your head for the rest of your life? Like, I'm an idiot. Like how do you recover from that? How do you ever like at any point in your life think like I'm a capable adult? Like no, you're not. No, not now. Not ever, probably.
The person
not ever
like,
again.
If I recall the report correctly, it was a 38-year-old female that was having mental issues, is what they put down on the report, the non-detailed report.
That's
no,
a bit of an understatement right there.
I do not live in Florida. I live in, you could argue, the third most Florida state, Idaho, Potato Land. Go to the room. I don't know. I was like, wow, that actually happened. Funnily enough, the specific part of the railroad that happened was only 5 minutes walk away from where the pool was. On the other side of the drainage canal is just the main railroad right there. And if we went east that way 5 minutes, that's where it happened.
So there's a possibility if you were looking in the right place at the right time, you would have seen like a spurt of blood.
I would probably have. I'm not the most queasy individual, but if I would have saw that, I probably would have passed out. Honestly.
Yeah. So, yeah, So I actually do pass out when I see blood, which is a fun thing. Makes me feel very manly when it happens. Like I'm at the doctor's.
Don't feel that bad about it.
Just getting blood drawn.
I don't pass out when I see blood, but I pass out when I can empathize with the pain I'm seeing, if that makes sense.
That does.
I have this really weird thing where if I see something happen or I'm looking at something that has happened, let's say like somebody staircases their arm, right? They break it in 3 points and it looks like a Z, you know? If I stare at that long enough, my brain will be like, wow, that must hurt. I wonder what that feels like. Here's an idea of what it might feel like. And then I go through the pain response, which is nausea. My actual pain response is like I actually broke my freaking arm. Yeah. I have fractured my wrist at one point, so I have knowledge of some bone fracturing pain. And then my brain will go, yes, feel the pain. Feel it all. Feel it. Oh, wait, crap. Now I'm feeling the pain. Uh-oh, I'm feeling a little woozy. And then I just fall over dead. So, you know.
Dead. Oh, man. I'll hate it when I die. Oh, that's so inconvenient.
No, I die at least 2 times a day.
Ah, I feel for you. Such a chore.
Bleach. Hey, DK, can you give me some of that brain bleach? I ran out of Tide Pods after making a joke 2 live streams ago.
Oh, yeah. Out of brain bleach. Send more.
Ah, dang it. I need more.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not technically like when I see blood, it's like when I'm getting blood drawn. I don't know, it's a weird thing, like when I become aware.
No, that happened to me. But I had blood work done on me like 6 years ago, and I actually passed out in the room, and I made everybody freak out, because apparently I actually started convulsing and stuff like that, right?
Oh, no.
But, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a fun experience for me. I had to get some blood work done not too long ago, and like I just didn't. I went there first thing without having anything to eat or drink, and then I was just like yeah, go ahead, take some blood. And then they did it, and I was just like, I'm gonna pass out. And I just like got back like down on my chair, and they're just and all like the doctor and the nurse are trying to be real comforting. They're like, no, it's okay. And in my head, I'm just like, fuck. I'm gonna lose consciousness.
No, that was kind of the same thing with me, but it was happening in the middle of the blood draw. I was just getting my blood drawn, and I was just like, oh, I just do not feel good.
Yeah.
I wasn't even like looking at the needle or anything. I was just looking around. I'm like, yo, the room's getting a little dark.
Yeah.
But I didn't even say that, right? I just thought it, and I'm just like, this isn't right. And the next thing I know, I'm like, I'm waking up like I just got out of bed, and wait, I'm in the doctor's office all of a sudden. That wasn't a dream? And everybody's just panicking. They've got the emergency alarm pull tab thing, right? They pulled that. People from the ER came over to make sure I was all right. I'm just like,
you just wake up and you start laughing, and I'm like, oh, you fell for it.
No, when I got up, I felt like crap. I had to puke, so I immediately said, I gotta get up, right? So I literally get up under my own power, and I stumble my way to the bathroom, which is just literally the door next over. And then I don't actually vomit, surprisingly enough. And then I was pretty much good until the drive home. Then I vomited.
Is this new upholstery?
I had a bag with me. Because I was still feeling a little queasy, so I kept it on me, and then out of nowhere, like an erupting volcano, I just felt it coming up, and I didn't even have time to say, "Oh, it's coming up." I just grabbed the bag and just right all over into the bag.
That's all you can do sometimes.
So I actually had to get blood. They actually, the next day, funnily enough, after that blood draw, the ER actually called us back and said, he's got to get back in here. Because of what they found on the blood draw.
What?
But, yeah, no. Apparently, my body reacted so poorly to having its blood drawn that it made them panic that I was having some kind of, like, super low blood sugar attack and my body was shutting down, right?
Yo,
and they thought I was gonna die.
Oh.
No, I was fine. I got home. I had some bread, some starch, right, and then I had a soda, and I was all better.
They just like have a stretcher for you, and they're just like, get on here, and you just like walk in. You're like, what's up, guys?
No, yes, actually. And I walk in and I'm just fine, and they're like, okay, well,
That's weird.
they wheel the stretcher into the room. They're like, get on. So I'm like, okay. I get on the stretcher. They hook me up and they monitor me, and then after 2 hours, I get to go home. Right?
It's like that episode of SpongeBob where they got the coffin. They're like, okay, get in.
Maybe, I don't know. I've never watched SpongeBob.
What? You'd like it. You would.
I might. I don't know. My parents never let me watch it.
What? Why not?
I don't know.
Never let you watch SpongeBob. That's weird. It's like it's one of the tamer shows.
I honestly don't. I didn't watch a lot of TV growing up. I watched like the same 5 things here and there, so you know.
Yeah, no, that was me as well. I didn't watch a whole lot of TV until I got into high school, honestly.
Yeah, most of the stuff that I watch now is either on YouTube or through like stream services, right?
Yeah. I feel like I'm better for it because there's a lot of other people I know who, like, for their leisure time, instead of, like, doing stuff, they'll just, like, watch TV. And I'm just like, isn't that boring? Like, doesn't that get old? And it doesn't seem to bother them. And I'm just like,
well, think of it this way, right? What's the difference between sitting down after a long day of work and watching TV than sitting down at your computer and playing a video game after a long day of work, right?
Because playing a video game is participatory.
It can be participatory.
Exactly.
Depends on the game you're playing. Maybe what if you're playing like a visual novel or something? You know, you're kind of just reading.
Yeah. I don't know. It just strikes me as like more mentally active versus TV, where unless you're watching with somebody else, how much of that is really sticks, you know?
Yeah, well, a lot of it's kind of samey throughout it all. At least in my opinion, I don't see a lot of new stuff that captures my interest. Like, let's say, the latest thing on, well, I don't watch Netflix originals, but I'm going to use that as an example. Oh, this Netflix original looks more interesting than whatever's on TV. I'm going to go watch that. Or, oh, hey, the latest season of 86 came out on Crunchyroll. Yeah, I want to go watch that or whatever, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Compared to, I'm going to sit down and browse the channel catalog. Wait, do they still make those?
Technically, but the only people who use them, and I know this because I work with them, are like 86-year-olds who just don't understand how Netflix works or even what it is.
Well, it's just a different thing, you know. Some people are just so used to this one thing they just don't want to change.
Yeah, no, and for some people that's like exactly what it is. But a lot of the old people I've talked to, they're just like is there not a better option? The only people I've met who don't aren't like at least a little bit peeved that the cable companies keep upping the price on them, because that's how it is now. They just keep charging out the ass.
We're going to be dropping DirecTV here probably pretty soon. For that reason.
Yeah. And it's just because they like watching live sports. That's
all we really use it for. And even then, ESPN's got its own partnership deals with its own streaming services, so you could just go there instead.
Yeah, that's true.
Then again, I don't know how well they work. I don't watch sports. I'm not a sports guy.
Me neither.
Unless it's motorsports.
That is true. I could get behind that. Like, I could see getting excited about some motorsports, but like, you know, I don't know. Like, whenever I'm at a bar or whatever, for whatever reason, it's infrequent, but I do find myself in bars occasionally. Like, there's a bunch of people like getting excited about like a baseball game, and I'm just like, wow, I don't understand. I don't get what this is about. Me.
Like I said, I work down at my local rec department. They host a bunch of games. Well, all the managers there just want to talk about what the players are doing and how the games are going. Or we had Fruitland and Nissa down in Greenleaf, right? Like, how'd that game go? And I'm just like, I don't know sports. Or they're like, oh yeah, softball. You got E3 and Q6, and I'm just like, what the heck are you guys talking about?
What's that?
Positions. What? Positions.
What?
Yes, I too know the ball of sports. Good old hand egg and whatnot.
Yes.
Those weird...
Yeah, throwing the old spheroid around for reasons.
Spheroid. Yes. The Spheroid, my favorite version of game. Are we playing Griffball? That's a game mode in Halo, by the way, where you actually play with
Griffball, yeah. I'm just... That reminds me of Red versus Blue, where they actually have a character named Griff.
Yes. The old Red versus Blue was good, the new one's not. It actually got canceled now.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It just kind of like... It was just like, why would anybody watch this now? The story is over.
Exactly. Well, it was also Rooster Teeth. They became very corporate. It's why a lot of their big franchises kind of started dying out. Like Ruby, for example. I used to really like that. But that one also died out because the original director, Monty Oum, actually died at the end, in the middle of producing season 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of sucked.
That'll change some stuff.
Yeah, and then the series just went downhill from there. But funnily enough, Japanese company's actually doing their own version of the show that's inspired by the original season. So I'm hoping that one's going to be better.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's the opposite of what normally happens with like these Japanese companies coming up with
I find it
anime
really
ideas.
funny. I find it really funny because Ruby was a Western cartoon, 3D cartoon in an anime style, right? But it was made in the U.S., so it's a cartoon. But it was super popular in Japan, right? It was one of the few Western cartoons that was really popular in Japan. So it doesn't actually surprise me that a Japanese company wanted to actually pick it up and make their own official anime version of it. Now the show truly does have an identity crisis on what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Excuse me, DK, the power of what?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. I think you have misspoken on the power of what they have. Yes, fanworks.
Definitely, that's what that is.
Yes, that's definitely... Okay, in Japan, yes, that is what it means. But here in the West, that means something different. I do know that.
Yes, it has a different connotation.
There it is. There it is, DK. Yes, there's the connotation that we have here in the West of what that is.
Yes, because...
Which actually is kind of sad, because there's a lot of, quote, doujin artists that the second you say that, it's like, oh, you do that stuff. No, I don't.
Well, yes,
then why
but,
do you call
but
yourself
not like that. No, not like that. You got the wrong idea. It's not me. Couldn't be me.
It's my alter ego.
Listen, you gotta give me a chance.
I would not be surprised if there's somebody that writes the normal stuff by day and then the 3 a.m. stuff at night.
They gotta pay the bills somehow.
To be fair, that makes a lot of money.
It does. Oh god, it does. Like, you don't even have to like sell it. Somebody just pays you to make it, and you're like,
yeah.
okay,
Well,
I'm done with this
the
now.
problem with that is you've got to be good enough to actually get to that point.
That's true, yeah.
I will never be good enough for that, and honestly, I don't want to be.
Never say never, Mouse.
I will say, never say never is usually something that I like to say, but in the case of those off-brand 3 a.m. artist works, I will definitely say yes, I'm not going to do those.
Come on, think of all the money. Think of all the things you could buy.
To be fair, I would love to buy a new transmission for my car, but that's going to be quite a bit of money, so, you know.
That transmissions are expensive.
They are. It's still the stock. I'm pretty sure it's still the same stock transmission it had back in '83, compared to everything else in the car that the previous owner ripped out and upgraded.
Yeah, I'm probably eventually gonna have to. I don't know if I'm gonna replace my transmission or if I'm just gonna get a new car, because the car that I have is 2000, and while it's running fine, I really want to swap to something electric.
Oh, you want to get an electric car?
Yeah, they're just less maintenance, and it makes me feel good about myself.
It's less maintenance for the driver. Clarification.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I will let you know, driving an electric is a little different than driving a combustion engine car, mainly for the fact that it's an electric transmission, and that means instant power to wheels. You have instant response.
I've driven one before, so I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you have driven. Okay,
yes.
Then I don't need to explain it.
Yes. So I know what you mean. I've never used that feature, though. Technically, my dad, well, I don't know why I said technically. He does. He owns one. So occasionally I get to drive that. Dropkick is asking if we would agree that everything after Season 13-14 of Red vs. Blue is a non-canon acid trip. I'd say, yeah, that's mostly correct.
I would say yes if I had actually seen those seasons. I only have seen like the first 2-3 seasons of
Really?
Red vs. Blue.
You haven't even seen the freelancer arc?
I have not.
My God, that's where it gets good.
All I know is it doesn't look like a warthog. It looks like a puma. It's not a puma.
Granted, the first 4 seasons are good, but they're not of the quality that the later stuff is. They actually go in and mocap, like, good.
That's when they
like,
switch
really
from
good
like just
fight
in-game
scenes.
skits to full-on animation, right?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen any of their
parts of
full-on
it.
animation stuff. I've only seen the stuff that the in-game skits that they do. That's the only ones I've seen.
You should see the freelancer arc. I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend.
I might give it a watch one of these days.
It's good. It is actually good.
When I'm doing work on my main screen here, I just throw something up on my other screen, like YouTube or something, and just listen to that or watch it while I'm doing something else.
It's worth
the perks of 2 monitors.
It's worth.
I don't know. I've actually been playing through all the Halo games again these past couple days, and I just yesterday. And anybody who has played Halo, the Halo 2 is going to feel the pain on this one. I just completed Halo 2 on Legendary, the hardest difficulty. Holy crap, I never want to do that again. Ever, ever, ever again.
I haven't ever played Halo, so I can't say I relate, but I have played Doom, like the 2016 Doom on the hardest difficulty.
I don't know what the difficulty... it's harder than that. It's harder than 2016 Doom. Yeah, Jackal snipers are... Okay, Jackal snipers are bad, but once you basically have to die to them every single time, and then you memorize their spawns, then you can kill them. They just become a major nuisance. The biggest problem, DK, when it comes to how the game is balanced from Halo 2, compared to the first Halo, Combat Evolved, to Halo 2, is the time to kill is halved. So elites on average will shoot twice as fast. They will shoot within 3 frames, and that is 9 to 12 shots. And it only takes 9 to kill you. You have no time to react. They also have really, really good hit tracing, so they can lead you properly, and they don't miss very often. That's more annoying.
Yeah, that's, in my opinion, where it just starts becoming unfun. Where it's just like, I've died to this how many times?
Well, yeah, the Jackal snipers, if you don't know, Jackal snipers, they use a beam rifle. And they will one-shot headshot you in a split second. You turn the corner, and by the time you can even tell that you're turning the corner, you're dead on the floor.
That doesn't sound fun.
It was kind of fun at first, and then it just got more annoying more and more. As in, it was so bad. Later on, you get vehicle sections where you're driving in fairly fast vehicles. They will literally head cap you moving at full speed, like 200 meters out, and you're just dead. And now you got to go back 15 minutes on the last checkpoint.
How is that fun at first? I'm really curious.
Because it's a challenge. I can officially say I've beaten Halo 2 on Legendary by myself, which then again is actually easier than playing in co-op. Because in co-op, they have, by default, the Iron Skull, which skulls are a modifier in Halo that change gameplay elements. Some of them fun, some of them scoring. The Iron Skull, what that does is when one person dies on your team, everybody goes back to the previous checkpoint like everybody died. But because of a bug in the original Halo 2, and they kept this in the remaster version because, you know, the difficulty reputation that this game has, right? They kept that bug as a feature. So if you play Halo 2 Legendary on multiplayer and your buddy dies, it counts as both of you dying every single time. and everything can kill you in less than a second. You are literally the second weakest thing on unit on the board besides the small infection forms, and they're just because they only die in one hit. You die in about 2, maybe 3 if you're lucky.
That sounds like fun if you're a masochist.
I may or may not be. I don't know.
May
None
not.
of the other
Gosh,
Halo
you're in
legendaries
denial.
are like that.
You're in denial. You are a masochist.
The only reason Halo 2's legendary was so hard is because the game was rushed to production, so they didn't really do a lot of game check and balancing. If you've played Halo 1 or Halo Combat Evolved's legendary, it's actually not that bad. It's nowhere near that annoying. Sure, you're gonna die a lot, right? But it's a fair challenge. That's the difference. It's fair. You have time to react to scenarios that are. Don't talk about lasso playlist dropkick. Do not. I am not touching that on Halo 2. I will never touch that. But it's a fair challenge on Halo 2, or not Halo 2. Halo 2 is the most unfair challenge in any Halo game. Halo Combat Evolved is a fair challenge, though.
Okay.
Matter of fact, if you want to know how unfair Halo 2 was in campaign, I have my campaign stats for what I did throughout the entire campaign. All levels. 3,245 enemies killed, 199 vehicles destroyed, 525 deaths across 15 missions for a total playtime of 12 hours and 56 minutes and 19 seconds.
No time to die.
There is no time to die because you're already dead.
That's pretty rough.
It's rough.
Yeah.
For reference, Halo Combat Evolved's legendary, I died a grand whopping 292 times across my first legendary playthrough.
So that's like literally half as difficult.
That's still a lot of deaths, but I never got frustrated to the point to where I had to put my keyboard away and say, "You're not playing this game anymore."
If you keep playing this game, you're gonna throw your controller across the room. You're not gonna do that. That was an expensive controller.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like all the people back in 2002 when the game released.
Yeah,
That's how old Halo 2 is.
So what happens with me is I don't get angry at games. I just kind of like, well, this isn't working. I kind of want to go do something else.
Exactly. That's me. Like, I might get angry at a game, but I never get angry enough to the point to where I want to smash something.
Yeah, like I don't get that invested. I don't I don't need to win that much.
Okay, I shouldn't say that. There's a couple games where I'll be like, I'm doing really good, and then everything gets ruined, and I'll like hit my fist on the table. Right? That's the worst of it.
Yeah.
That's the worst of it for me. I've never done it. I've never thrown a controller, never broken anything. Right?
Just be like, damn it.
Yeah. Usually I'll just be like, oh come on. Anyway, that's pretty much me.
That sounds about right. That's just the strangest way to express frustration. Just like, damn it!
Well, it's best not to let it, consume you.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at the stream here. You are making that transmission tall.
Was it? Hold on.
It's massive. I gave you an X-ray. On the X-ray diagram, you can actually see where everything lines up.
Yeah, why am I not comparing this?
You're a little distracted.
I guess so.
That differential on the back's also massive as well.
All right.
The differential is the block that connects the rear drive wheels to the main drive shaft, by the way. So when I say differential, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That huge differential you got back there, that thing's gonna start bottoming out.
Okay.
If that frame wasn't there.
I'm gonna just shrink that a bit and then move that up to here.
Yeah, you've got the shape of that differential pretty much on point. Besides the slope on the backside, it slopes down.
Let's see. Do we want? So this part has to be flush with the bottom.
No hit Mega Man. I'm going to assume that's incredibly painful. I have never played a Mega Man game, but I'm going to assume that is incredibly painful.
All right, that looks better.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. Someone's pinging me. Who's pinging me?
Who could it be?
It's the other server. No, it's nothing important. Just video game stuff. Pre-release memes.
Ah, I see. So this.
Speaking of, yeah, that besides Halo, that's the other game I've been playing. Unconventional Warfare. Yes, Zano, I see you pinging me. Unconventional Warfare released in early access, so I've been playing that almost nonstop because I do bug testing for that game too. So.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Technically, not as a job, just, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to play this game and I'm going to go find all the bugs, just, of my own free time, because I love the game.
Yeah.
I finally got to see my characters in game, too, so that was fun.
Yeah, no, that was my, I don't know if I ever did bug testing for distance, but I definitely was around for a lot of the development for, I think I may have, reported a few bugs, but I'm not super great at finding bugs.
Oh, I'm great at breaking the game. I'm so good at breaking the game, I use bugs to find other bugs.
Dude,
like,
that's next
one of the ones that
level.
I did was Tutorial Land teaches you, how to shoot your guns and how to move your units, right?
Yeah.
But I found a crouch bug that you could be in the prone or crouch animation, but the game still thinks you're standing, so you're moving super duper fast, right?
Okay.
But the problem was your character stance wouldn't reset when you're going into the shooting tutorial, so you could end up damaging yourself with a ricochet.
Interesting.
And what that would happen is after the tutorial's over and the cutscenes finish playing and whatnot, right? It would actually crash the game because the game's like, hey, wait a minute, your character's damaged when he's not supposed to be. So I used a bug to find a game crashing bug.
That's pretty cool.
That's kind of the stuff that I do.
That's like an entire talent right there. I don't think I'm adventurous enough or curious enough, unless I'm explicitly trying to do a thing.
I have. You should see the bug reports that I write for these things too. I write. Let's see. Hold on. I write these down on Microsoft Word documents before I post them, just for spell checking, make sure everything's set up. Guess how many words my bug report was for all the different bugs I found?
A lot.
It was 806 words.
That's not
Worth.
a bunch.
Well, it's not a lot, but I reported. I abbreviated all the bugs and attached videos to them that showcase the bug in action, right? So if I could use less words, I would. The original length of this thing was about 1,800 words before I cut that all down.
Okay.
Because
well,
I
then
have.
It's probably pretty well edited at that point. So majority of what you're communicating is.
It's straight to the point for the most part,
Okay.
right? And I
Those
label
are-
them too.
Those are very
I also-
detailed reports.
It is. That's kind of my reputation on the server now. Detailed
Nice. reports,
but I'll separate them from what I assume are game-breaking bugs, and then ones that are more minor. So if the game crashes and it's repeatable, I'll probably put it in the top category, whereas if it's only a one-off crash and I can't find a way to replicate it, I'll just put it in the other one. Like, for example, one of the ones that I did, I couldn't figure out why the game crashed on me. So I save all the logs the second they crash, because that's what we also submit along with them, is the crash logs. But I read through the crash log and the war garble of text that was in there to try to give me an inkling of where to start looking. I found one string that talked about optional objective zones. So I'm like, okay, let's start there. So then I just started messing around with the objective zones until I was able to replicate the one-off random crash that I had found by accident. And then I did it about 3 or 4 more times to see if it was replicable. It was. And then I did it a couple more times to see if it was specific or broad. It was a very specific bug. You had to have one person go in the capture zone, leave, go back, die, then have somebody, and they have to stay in the capture zone when they die. Then you have to have somebody in the other capture zone, cap it, go out, go back in, and stay in it, and then complete the mission while one person's dead and the other person's active in the other cap zone. Then the game will crash.
Yeah.
That's the kind of bug hunting I do.
That's above my head. I can wrap my head around like how it works. I don't know. It just doesn't.
Would you believe me if I told you I condensed that entire explanation into about a minute video demonstrating what exactly that was?
Oh yeah.
Along
easily.
with.
If you've got a video, then that's like, yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah, no, I upload a lot of these to streamable, and that's where I put them all because I don't want to spam Discord with a whole bunch of links and videos. So I do it this weird workaround way that gives them the link, but it doesn't like create a link and then a whole bunch of stuff on the page.
That is a good way. That is a good way to do it.
So I don't know. I am incredibly thorough when it comes to looking for these things, and I like to think it helps because they know exactly where to look. Sometimes I don't even have to be that in-depth because I can just be like, okay, let's see. I had a crash here. Let me look at the crash log. Oh, crash log says item null reference. Item cannot be found. M1903 air service rifle dot something something blah blah blah. Okay, well the crash had something to do with the this specific gun. Let's go back in and see if I can do it again, right? And then it's just immediately like that, and it took me like 3 minutes to figure it all out.
It's efficient. You're like man. From what I hear from like video game developers, that basically makes you an unofficial member of the dev team.
I like to think I am. I don't know. I was an a late a late Kickstarter backer for the game, and I have play tested every single, besides one build. It was a minor build and there wasn't a lot of stuff to test, so I didn't test that one, but I've tested every other single one, and I've submitted bug reports, feedback. I basically QA/QI kind of thing, right?
That's the nice thing about these indie games, is that they have a lot of like grassroots support. So like what with Distance, for example, not a big dev team at all. But a lot of like support from the community. Like for example, when it comes to custom cars, that's the thing that probably never would have happened officially, but it still happened as a result of that community.
And that's the cool part, you know.
Yes, I agree. That's like one of the best parts about like being in an indie game project, is that you get to see that sort of stuff happen.
I know. Even though I know I'm not part of the dev team, I still feel like I am because I'm helping the game get more playable. You know.
Exactly.
And at the same time, I'm also helping answer questions that other people have on the Discord at the same time. So that also helps. You know, because the devs aren't, they're on a lot of the time, but they don't have time to respond to everything. You know.
They're doing work.
Out of every Discord server I'm on, that's probably the one I'm most active on, even though I'm not very active on Discord to begin with. As I'm sure you've noticed, I don't really post a lot on your Discord, for example.
I don't either at that point. Yeah.
But that also comes down to, I also don't understand a lot of the culture around your Discord group, like a lot of the inside jokes or all the memes on there. I'm just like, I don't know what half of this stuff is.
Yeah, I don't. At one point, it was just like a place where people could go and talk about accelerators, but now it's like its entire own thing.
That's what happens, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, you just, like, stay in this one place with the same people for long enough, and eventually it's just like, oh, you know, everybody gets their own reputation for being a specific way.
Exactly. Just like what we were talking about, on the Unconventional Warfare Discord server, I've got a reputation for being a thorough bug tester, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's all. I am the quiet one that doesn't say much, but I come with giant heaps of information and stuff that's broken.
You're just like, excuse me, I've got the bug report here, and you just like lay out this massive scroll.
Oh yeah, no, it's massive. In their bug report channel, I just have to scroll up here, and it's huge. especially when you just look at it in like a windowed mode, so not even like full screen. You have to scroll for a couple seconds to get through it all.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Or if we go with reputations on other Discords, your channel, I have the reputation of
You're the art
ruining
guy.
art contests.
Like, ah, shit, Mouse showed up. Thought I had a
I'm
show.
not gonna lie. What people say to me don't really get to me that much, right? But I still feel, I don't know. I won't lie and say it doesn't get to me. But that's one of the reasons why I kind of stopped doing some of the art contests, some of the months, because I was just kind of like, well, people keep complaining about me submitting stuff, so I just won't submit stuff. To be fair, when I submitted Glaciate, nobody voted for it. Probably because they're just tired of my designs winning, and fair point to that. That's how democracy works, you know? So I could still just submit stuff anyway, and then if people don't want it, they just don't vote for it kind of thing. So I could just do that.
No, I think part of it is just like it's a way of facetiously complimenting your art. Just like, damn it, it is like undeniably good.
Yeah. There's a lot of that, and I know there is. It still feels weird. I don't post a lot of my own art, right? So people actually saying, "Hey, this is good," and I'm just like, "Thank you." I don't think it's very good, but I'm glad you think it's good. You know, that kind of thing. Because I'm very hard on myself, and I don't compliment myself. And then when other people compliment me, I'm like, "Wait, people actually like this?"
Yeah, no, it's always weird when you're just like, you're not joking. You actually do like what I'm doing here. It's a weird feeling.
It is. It very much is. It's warm and cozy, and at the same time a little frightening.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no,
now I'm expecting.
Now it matters. Like,
see, that's my other concern with me doing these art contests. Is I feel I don't want to be pressured not to compete, right? Because you know I want to see other people's designs win, right? And I want to see more designs get submitted, because I've seen some people say I'm not going to submit anything because you know, Mouse always wins, or DK wins, or Xano wins, right? I've seen that. So I'm like, okay, then I just won't submit. But then I have other people that say, oh, you need to submit stuff. You got to add. You got competition. You got to drive that competition so other people will post stuff. And I'm like, now I'm being pressured to post stuff, and now I have confused feelings.
I have very mixed feelings about this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. At some point, I've thought about, like, Xano actually brought this up idea originally a long time ago about doing, like, collabs with other people. And I thought about it, honestly. Like, maybe I just take the back seat and I just help someone with a design, right? Kind of thing. Problem is, I'm scared to work with other people because my schedule is not the most strict. So I'm not always available at all times, you know? I work very weird hours, so...
Yeah,
well,
that's me as well.
Personal hours. My day job, pretty normal hours, but my personal hours are very weird.
That's how it is. That is how it is. That's how it was with me trying to get out new episodes of The Joy of Level Editing, because, like, theoretically, it's something that I do want to do. And all I need to do is just find time to schedule it. But it hasn't happened for a while. Doesn't mean it won't.
The Joy of Level Editing was one of actually my favorite series that you did, because I loved looking and learning about all the secret little details and tricks that you could use in the distance level editor. Matter of fact, I used a lot of those when I was originally putting together some of my maps, which haven't seen the light of day. And it has helped me be much more efficient in designing that, you know?
You know, it actually
Plus,
it means a lot to hear you say that.
It means one of my favorite parts too is just seeing the process, and the creative process is my favorite part of doing art or modeling or anything, right? The creative process is the funnest part to learn about and just discuss, because there's so much that goes into things that you may not even realize, you know? Whether it be inspiration or an idea that started it all, right? And honestly, I could talk for hours about for example, my designs. Let's take my designs, for example. I could talk for hours about all the things that inspired them, where they came from, where this little bit came from, where that came from, where this reference comes from, right? You know, all these little things that come together to make the final product. The story behind it is the coolest part too. And that's why I like the joy of level editing, is you could see that background. Plus, you get the witty banter of a couple hosts on there too, right? And it makes it feel like, hey, I'm with them here. You know, I'm part of the crew.
Yeah, it's got that podcast energy.
Exactly. Like your latest one you did with, what was it? It was Pines and Kenobi, right? That was the last one you did. I think.
That was.
Yeah, I'm sad that I couldn't make the live stream, but I watched the VOD of it and I absolutely loved it. Easily one of my favorite episodes there.
They're fun to make too. I enjoy doing them. But to give you some context as to like how my brain works and also how my life works, like my reasoning for doing these streams every Saturday is to make sure I actually find time for this stuff, because
and if I don't get burnout.
Yeah, like well, that's part of it. But if I don't like schedule it out very specifically, like on a week by week basis, then what will happen is I just don't do it. Like I just kind of.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I totally feel that. That's basically me right now with my art. I'm just like, I could do it. I don't want to.
If you are looking to like find a way to just kind of schedule these things regularly, then consider just doing like a little bit of an art stream.
See, I thought about it. The art stream I did a couple weeks ago, it didn't go bad, but I did kind of find it hard to focus on the design when I was, you know, chatting with everyone else. But I'm also not on a time crunch anymore, so that may be a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes
that, and I feel super I feel very awkward seeing having people watch me draw, because I am very finicky about my lines, and I just back and forth, and I'll go. I have no sense of direction. I just go until it starts getting right. I'll start on this segment, then I'll be like, let's work on that segment later, and then I'll go over to this segment, and I'm like, let's go back to this segment. I thought of something, I gotta go do that, and then it's chaos.
I feel
There's no work order. That's what it's called. Order of operations. There's no order of operations in it.
I feel that. That's like pretty much how I model, where it's like I model better when I'm a little bit out of it, because then I don't get in my head so much about, well, where do I focus first? Like I need a plan.
Yeah.
I need some like greater, you know. But if I'm just like tired or like.
Wait, see, that's my other thing too, is I actually want to try something different than cars now too, right? I want to move on. I want to not move on per se, right? But I want to try drawing other things than just cars.
I tell you
like
what.
I want to get around to drawing my pilot portraits for some of my games, or I want to create more character bios and stuff like that, right?
If you're looking to get into that, consider joining Newt's server. He's got a server for World Run, or sorry, not Global Run. Global Run is
Global Run.
Yeah, Global
what's
Run
Global Run again?
Global Run is the RPG that like World Race was based off of. Where a bunch of speed-obsessed aliens. Yeah, it was originally like a D&D type campaign before it was an animated show.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it is basically just like a bunch of speed-obsessed aliens that made these, you know, tracks that humans have to race on and, you know, fight each other over. And that's the basic premise. And Newt is trying to get something like that off of the ground a little bit. We've got a bit of concept art at this point, at this stage, but it's just from Pines right now.
That's why he was asking if he could use my car designs.
Yes, and so that's what that project is for. I can send you a link if you want, but if you want to get into drawing like concept art or stuff, and you just want like a project so that you have fodder you can practice on, that might be a good outlet.
I might do that. I like drawing concept art, like drawing the way I've done for this art contest. Again, all I did it for was to learn how to draw just in general, and then I learned actually a lot on how to draw model sheets in particular, right? Oh, they're actually going to follow this near 1-to-1. Okay, so I've got to start doing it this way now, right? which is why you see more and more detail as the cars go along, and then extra diagrams or x-rays or schematic views showing, hey, this is what it looks like underneath. It's a little hard to see without that, right? Just like for the front engine here on the front axle where the two wheels are, you can't actually see how those are connected in there, right? While on the x-ray view, you can see it's just a straight bar because it's just a rear-wheel drive car, so there's not much need for anything other than turning, you know?
I think the car is pretty much done at this point.
It doesn't have any tire tread, though.
That's right. That's tire tread. Velocity. Velocity? Who's that? That sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar. Well, welcome anyway. How you doing, Velocity? No, Xano, I haven't actually tried your micro realm yet. I saw it got pulled from the tournament submissions. May I ask why?
Don't ask. Don't ask why.
Well, then I'll just go play it myself and see why.
Oh God, no. No, don't do that either.
I'm not gonna lie, micro realm is one of my personal favorite realm concepts.
Yeah, that would be funny if it weren't a trick.
I'd also like to let you know these wheels are big, chonky semi-slicks for drags. So they got a lot of rubber on them.
Okay, does this look right, or should they be a bit bigger?
You can see the front wheel. Oh, yeah. Maybe a bit thicker.
Okay.
Thick.
Let's go back.
Where's my echo key? I haven't used any of my voice tokens yet. I gotta start using those.
So anyways,
thick.
Bro. You can't just spring that on me.
Make it thick.
Extra thick.
Thick. Okay, I'm gonna stop that now.
I'd say that's about right.
Yeah, that's about right. These are oh, maybe I could do the squeaky voice. I'm sorry. I don't get to use my soundboard enough on public chats.
We're happy to oblige you.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna be sad when we don't do any more of these streams, honestly.
We'll replace them with something else.
I love coming on here and just chatting with you all, honestly.
It is. It's nice. It's a good part of my week. Helps me like clear my head, recenter myself.
Same. And it also helps that it comes right after work too, so I can just it gives me something immediately to relax into, you know.
That's good timing. It's very fortuitous that it worked out that way.
Fortuitous indeed.
Indeed.
Yes, we've got you too, Xano. That's why I said everyone. Everybody here. Everybody in the chat. Everybody.
Yes, shut up and get in here.
Everybody get in here. Start. I almost said start spamming. Don't start spamming.
No, don't do it. Don't start spamming.
Start engaging with the conversation. Just start saying things. Banana.
Banana? Oh, dude, I love bananas. Like, we're always out of bananas at my house just because I love making smoothies. Like, that's the way to start.
Oh, you make smoothies?
Every day, bro. Every day. I'm on that smoothie life, man.
Every day.
Every day, man. Every day I start my day. Throw a bunch of fruit in a blender. Just smoothie it, man. It's what I do.
It's what you do. What you do, man.
It's just what you man.
Do that smoothie.
Yeah, man. Get that smoothie. Got smoothie life, man.
Smoothie life.
Smoothie life.
I love how we can just say banana and just go into something like that.
Okay.
Oh, that totally reminds. I finally remember how we were trying to remember that talking point we had last stream. I remember it.
What was it?
It just popped into my head now, thinking about the smoothie of remembrance.
What was it?
We were talking about we were gonna start talking about Metalizer and the story I actually put with it, because we got in that conversation, then we got sidetracked.
Okay.
Because I posted the entire lore of that car when I submitted it, and I don't think you'd actually read it yet.
No, I don't think I did. Oh yeah, no, it was something about how like Acceleron like needed Acceleron combat something.
Yeah, it was It was a last-ditch design by Acceleron's. I'm just gonna read from the the actual lore file I have for it.
Yes, do that. Yes.
Maybe I should get my reading voice on. The XM1A1 was a last-ditch design by the Accelerons to counter the drone's aggressive tactics in the realms and defend the Wheel of Power. However, the design came too late and produced in too few numbers to make a difference before the drones ceased control. The majority of the models were lost to the realms and drones, while the last few surviving models were deactivated and locked away in Acceleron vaults, or were salvaged and repurposed by the drones themselves. The vehicle itself, however, was powered by a 620 horsepower, 7.2-liter 8-cylinder turbo diesel that allows the vehicle to reach an average speed of 183 kilometers an hour, or 113 miles an hour for you Americans, and a max speed of 289 kilometers an hour, or 179 miles per hour, and utilizes fully independent arm suspension to handle any and all rough terrains. The XM1's armor comprises of high-hardness aluminum alloy, and its enclosing canopy comes equipped with an LED laminate screen that lines the interior, including a targeting computer and aiming system overlays. This gives the pilot visibility akin to a full-glass canopy, with the protection of a fully enclosed armored capsule. And our last bit, the XM1 received the name Metallizer due to the effect of the specialized hyper-gallium cord rounds that they had on the other vehicles. I messed that up, ignore me. Which releases on impact and infuses with any metal it comes in contact with, causing it to rapidly deteriorate and shatter. Fun fact, that last bit, the gallium cord rounds, was total coincidence with the name. Metallizer was the name of this car long before I wrote any of this stuff. And I was just remembering, what's that one element that makes aluminum really, really brittle that you can break it with your fingers? Gallium. Well, let's make some Super Acceleron Hyper Magic Gallium cord rounds, and bam, Metallizer. That's why it's got the name.
That's pretty cool. Like there's a bunch of thought that went into that. That's
Yeah.
the thing that I like the most about this whole situation, I guess. Like when projects like this are submitted, just that it can lead to like some really interesting lore.
All of my cars have stuff like this, just not as tied into the franchise. This is the first one I tied into the franchise. Most of them are just tied into the car itself, right? Like Glaciate had its own, Aeroderivative had its own. Crossout technically has its own, though I didn't submit that part of it because I was just submitting the car and I was just done with it. Crossout was it was designed by a driver who participated in the Racing Realms and won. It was his own cocaine-inspired design, suicide-fueled design. So,
Suicide.
like most of my
That's
cars,
interesting.
actually. Most of my cars are not cocaine-fueled in designs, but they're mainly designed around a team that participated in one. Validium was a silencer's car, for example. That's what it started life out as. Just like how Samuel Pierce's design, Quantanium was a silencer's car, right? I actually never said that. Validium started life out as a silencer's car, which is why its paint scheme is the way it is. It's just the orange is over all the silver.
That makes that does make sense. You know, it'd be cool if we could write out a comprehensive lore of what happened after Acceleracers ended. Just
maybe
world history type stuff.
Yeah, what if we did what if it became how the Accelerons intended it to be, and it became an actual world racing circuit that a bunch of people from all over the world came back to race in as an official racing league.
Exactly.
Kind of thing,
You
right?
just you shift.
And that's
you shift the
and that's
story.
where these
so
cars
it's-
come from.
Yeah, so it's less of an epic. So it's less of a there's a thing that they need to do, and once they're done with that, no story, and more of just like a system or a world. Like, you ever
Exactly.
seen?
Yes. I'm sorry. What?
Well, I was gonna say, have you ever seen Tower of God?
No, I haven't.
It's on
I've heard of it
Crunchyroll.
though.
It's interesting, but just basically how the Tower of God is a thing in and of itself. It's the environment,
Yes.
it's the atmosphere. It represents a goal, and just because you win doesn't mean the story ends.
No,
just
no,
because
it doesn't.
you triumph doesn't mean anything is over.
Yeah, no. Honestly, and that would be the best part about making it a world. And this is literally how I design all of my writing, too, when it comes to all my fantasy worlds that I've written, or sci-fi worlds or whatever, is it's just a world. Stuff happens in it. Choose a point where it starts and just go with it, right? You can just insert whatever you want here and just go with it as long as it follows the previously established stories that came before, right? Or what comes after.
Exactly.
And that way, heck, you could probably even, you know how we do our tournaments, right? Or your tournaments. How you host the tournaments every month, right? It could basically just be something like that. That is the canon. It's a monthly tournament that people compete in and to get prizes, and different car companies or manufacturers, or heck, even crazy people in their own backyards design their own cars to compete in this racing competition that goes across different tracks, realms, concepts, right?
Exactly, yeah. And then like that's the lore at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And then the drivers that go through that is what writes the lore and what happens, right? Just like how in our tournaments, they won on the month of April. That was the winner. This was second. This was third, right? And then that's the new lore.
Exactly. Yeah. No. And I'm doing something similar with my making accelerators something that we can steal. Just like no, it's not accelerators. It's Acceleron drivers. That's totally different.
Well, at this point, if we just design all of our own cars, our own tracks, our own, you can't copyright the idea of racing in challenging environmental realms, right? That's not exactly a copyright. We can't call them racing realms, obviously. We could call them legs, just be generic, right? Kind of like what they did in Highway 35. But as long as we just kind of come up with our own stuff, we should be fine with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're probably just gonna be fine, just so long as we can.
Yes, Sano, you can submit a car with legs as long as it drives. Actually, fun fact. Speaking about legs and cars, while Metalizer does actually have suspension arms / legs for its main wheels, it's actually one of the main inspirations for that car came from a vehicle I had built in another game, which was a 6-legged walker mech that had a very similar center frame.
An AT-AT?
Kind of like an ATT, but not exactly. It was far smaller and much more nimble. But that's also because in that game, speed actually does mean a decent amount when you're designing your vehicles, because you can't get hit if they're slow. I got to get back into that game. I was designing historically based ships from history and making my own versions.
Robocraft?
Huh?
Robocraft?
No. From the depths. From the depths.
Okay.
It's a block-based building game where you can build jets, tanks, planes, boats, spaceships, if that's your thing. I built one of my funnest builds, and it still works. I built this like 6 years ago, so many updates have come out. It's a SSTO fighter that works both in and out of atmosphere.
That's pretty cool. Wait, so this is like a space game?
It's a whatever game you want it to be game.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a build your own vehicle game, block-based building game, right, for vehicles. But you can build whatever you want, and there's a bunch of factions on the map that you can they actually did the diplomacy update about last year, so you can either ally with them or go to war with them, and each one has their own specialties. Like Deepwater Guard is like kind of pirate themed and steampunk themed, so a lot of their vessels are wood with iron ribbing, large cannons, slow firing but heavy hitting, right? Then you have like the Onyx Watch, which are basically just floating metal fortresses on the water that are super slow, are very hard to kill, and have giant guns. Or you've got the Lightning Hoods, which make very fast, very nimble vehicles, but they're very fragile, but they specialize in laser weaponry and particle cannons, so they can melt through armor fairly efficiently. Think of them like glass cannons.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
You know, every once in a while, I'll think like, Accelerators was good, but there are things about it that I didn't like. And then it occurs to me that that's like pretty much what the current like 5th edition is. There's just so much random stuff. Like, there's probably something you like in there. Like, you just find yourself a corner of the game and just kind of dig in.
Yeah, like me, I make I've turned over to more historic designs for this game, right?
Exactly.
And that's more on my corner. But you can make crazy stuff.
Yeah, you can just make like wild, fantastic designs.
And I'm gonna see if I can find some examples here. I've even made model vehicles from other games, such as like Command and Conquer franchise. Like I made some of the GLA vehicles from Command and Conquer Generals in game, and they actually look pretty close to the actual vehicles in game. And I was pretty happy with how those turned out. Let's see here. What's a good one? Most of the pictures I have are of my historical vessels. Here's a good example. So this is actually a campaign craft I built that's meant to be more meta towards the early game. Super cheap, basic wooden gunboat with a cannon and anti-air gun, right? You can build something as simple as that, or
oh wow,
those
graphics actually look pretty cool.
Yeah, the graphics aren't half bad. Or you can go full-blown crazy and build model battleships like I do.
Damn. What did you say the name of this game was again?
From the Depths. It's on Steam. Oh, yeah.
Right. That's an actual... It's a naval-based game.
Yeah, it originally started as a naval-based game, but you can make full-on bombers, too. I got a picture of one of those. Somewhere in here. You can even make giant particle cannons. You can make now, mind you, this is from a very early version of the game, but you can make like MLRS platforms like this one here. This was one of my early MLRS tanks. Here's my bomber formation. That's what I was looking for. Or you can make aircraft like this. These are from much older versions of the game, so graphics are a little different, but
that is cool. It looks like just like really old graphics.
What's my newest? Yeah, that motor gunboat picture is using the newest graphics screenshot that I have in game.
How does the game run? Is it like more? I don't know. Some games I feel like are kind of like they have a certain feel to them.
They run okay. It depends on what you're doing. If you have giant, huge battles with like 50 constructs on each side, your game's gonna lag. But if you're just doing normal fleet battles with like, let's say 10 on each side and they're moderately sized, the game runs pretty well. It has an inbuilt reduced function mode. So if the game starts lagging, it'll get rid of a lot of the cosmetic effects that go on. So like all the blocks flying off and exploding everywhere, they'll just despawn instantly, and that way it saves on processing power, so the game can still process and run normally.
That's pretty good.
So, all right, this is the last one. I'm okay. It might not be the last one, but this was by Skyray. This was one of my favorite things I built.
Look at that.
I loved this thing, but the best part. It has an interior, so you can walk around in this thing. It's got troop transport and a pilot's canopy. You can see me sitting in it, too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, this thing works really well.
What's the editor in this? Is this like a voxel-based editor? Or?
It's not. It's block-based, so you build it up by individual blocks.
Okay.
Unlike Sprocket. Sprocket, that was the other game I was going to talk about. That's voxel-based like Blender here when you were working with grid lines. I've actually built stuff in that game using basically the same strategies you're using right now to build Crossout.
Is that so?
Yeah, hold on. Let me go into game and open up the grid map on that turret. I built a rounded turret in that game. It turned out really well. I don't have a screenshot of it currently, but I love this game. Sprocket is a voxel-based vehicle builder designed primarily around designing your own tanks. Think like World War II tanks, Cold War tanks, World War I tanks, right? This game is made for me, more or less.
Oh, Z-Storm's here.
Oh, Z-Storm. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Z-Storm. I bought a Valve Index yesterday. So that's an interesting thing that's happened in my life.
Index.
An index, yes. I've been saving up for quite some time, and I've finally put all of my money towards. I had to pay like $80 worth of tax.
Ooh, yeah.
It's not cheap, man. Why isn't this working?
Ah, there it is. XM6. Big boy tank.
Although I do currently already have a virtual reality headset. I use I use the original Oculus Rift, or the Oculus Rift CV1, if you will, consumer version 1. Warranty your controllers every 6 to 7 months. As in, check
That sounds
them for
concerning.
warranty? You get a warranty for 1 year. Interesting. Should I be concerned at all? Let it fall out of... Oh, so you want to return them, like, on warranty every... That sounds like something I might be able to fix myself, just by replacing the sticks with something aftermarket. Okay, well, all I'm doing at this point, really, is just adding rivets, and I feel like my blood sugar is probably starting to dip.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6:10, and I would have probably called the stream here, but I don't have D&D today. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go over to a local game store and check them out.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Because they apparently have tables which you can use to host D&D every once in a while.
Sounds like one of the local ones that actually opened up near me, Pro Soul Games. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah, no, I don't know enough about the game stores near me, so I think I'm going to call the stream here. This is pretty much done, I think.
More or less, unless you want to model the engine 1-to-1.
Yeah, I'm going to toss this over to General Kenobi and have him add any final touches he wants to. That's what he did with Metalizer.
Yeah, that came out pretty well.
It did, yeah. He got pretty much everything. So I'm going to pass this his way. And then the Saturday after next, because next Saturday is the tournament, meaning, yes, team's open.
I will see if I can be there.
Okay. I think I could probably handle in-depth repairs, because that's what I do professionally, like just repair technology. As long as it doesn't require a bunch of soldering on tiny little circuit boards, I could probably figure it out, no problem. And yes, sign-ups open. Sign-ups open.
Sign-ups open. Find your teams. Find your teams. Don't stack them all on one side. Make it a fair fight.
Soldering is fun. Not when you have like a $400 stake writing on whether or not you get it right, and you can possibly damage it like so much that it doesn't work anymore. But yeah. Tournament next week, and week after that we're